Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing another edition of What I Am Thinking. For those of you that are new to my channel and know nothing about this video series, basically it is what it sounds like. It's where I sit down and I just talk about whatever I am thinking at the time. Now this could be about anything in the world, but most likely it's going to be about something geeky related, like comic books or video games or movies or television or something along that lines. And today's edition of What I Am Thinking is going to be part of a two-part What I Am Thinking. The next part I'm going to do tomorrow. And it's going to be about the news that was released from DC Comics this weekend. And basically the news was the second wave DC New 52, which I touched upon briefly in my Andrew Cutter pick of the week. And then also Rob Liefeld going to be writing for 3 comic titles in DC Comics. So, what I'm going to do is today, I'm going to talk about my opinions about Rob Liefeld writing and drawing for these 3 titles. He's writing for all 3 of them, but he's drawing only one of them. And then, in addition to that, I'm going to talk about the second wave DC Comics, New 52, tomorrow or Tuesday or somewhere along that line, wherever I get free time, which is hard to find. Anyways, so with that said, let's talk a little bit about Rob Liefeld. Now, Rob Liefeld, a lot of people have their opinions on Rob Liefeld. They either love him or they hate him very passionately in either which way. I know a lot of people that love his art, and then I know a lot of people that dislike his art. To really get a true understanding of where I stand with this news, I think I should talk a little bit about what I think of Rob Liefeld. Because I have made comments here and there, but I think it's only fair to you guys to really get the full gist of what I feel about him. To be completely honest, I have never read anything that Rob Liefeld has ever done. The most exposure that I've had from Rob Liefeld is seeing his art. So the only thing I can really comment upon with Rob Liefeld is his art. He has a very passionate fan basis, and he also has a lot of people that dislike him. But when it comes down to his art, this is what I have to say. I'm not a huge particular fan of Rob Liefeld's art. Do I think it's as bad as everyone says it is? No. But do I think it is good? It leaves a lot to be desired. I think my biggest problem with Rob Liefeld's art comes in 4 areas. One is eyebrows. Sometimes he draws eyebrows in people's hair. I remember seeing a picture of Dove and she having her bangs down and her eyebrows in her bangs. Number 2, he adds extra sets of teeth. Never have I seen someone have so many teeth as in a Rob Liefeld drawing. Number 3 is the waist of a female is really elongated and contorted. And it really does look kind of weird. It kind of wants to make me want to give Rob Liefeld an anatomy book. And lastly is feet. Rob Liefeld does not like feet. Now, again, this is, it's hard to say this because I'm not a particularly great artist myself. I doodle around. But Rob Liefeld has his own style. It happens to be a style that I don't care for. Again, a lot of people like his art style, and that's perfectly fine. There is a certain sense of charm to it. It's just I don't really care about the charm. So, not to insult Rob Liefeld, I just don't care for his art. I'm not one of his fans. I don't follow him. I'm not intense into what he does. When I looked at Hawk and Dove, I actually thought the art was okay. My problem with the art is when they were out of the costumes and they just looked like they were constantly on steroids or roid raging. I don't know. Again, I don't have enough of an education when it comes down to Rob Liefeld to give a full assessment of how I feel. The most I can say is what I feel about his art. So that's basically my dealings with Rob Liefeld, and for some reason my chair is not moving well. He has his own fan base, and that's well and good. I'm just not part of it. Now, as for the 3 titles he'll taking over. Rob Liefeld is going to be writing on Grifter, writing on Savage Hawkman, and writing on Deathstroke, and then he's going to be drawing on Deathstroke also. So he's going to be writer and artist on Deathstroke, and writer on Grifter and Savage Hawkman. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I pick up Deathstroke, I pick up Savage Hawkman, and I pick up Grifter, all three of them. And they're all titles that I have enjoyed thus far. However, since looking at the amount of comics that I've had, and since reading the previous issue number fives of these comics, with the exception of Savage Hawkman, that issue 5 hasn't come out yet. I do believe that I'm going to be dropping one of them. What I did do is I am sticking with Savage Hawkman. I'm going to say that. Hawkman is one of my favorite DC superheroes. I like him no matter what, and despite how good or bad his comic is doing, I'm going to stick with him. Deathstroke the Terminator is one of my favorite bad guys, if not one of my favorite DC bad guy. If you can really call him a bad guy right now, I don't know what he is. Anti-hero, neutral, bad guy, good guy, anti-bad guy. I don't know. Anyways, I really enjoy Deathstroke, so I've been following his comic slightly, but now I'm subscribed to it. And finally, Grifter, which is a comic that I've kind of been picking up on the side. I've been enjoying, but it hasn't been doing as well. So let me tell you what I like about Rob Liefeld jumping onto these comics and what I may dislike. Let's start things off with Grifter. Right away, this could actually work out for Rob Liefeld. I know Rob Liefeld was popular in the 90s, and particularly with, oh god, was it, I forget, Wildstorm? No, it wasn't Wildstorm. Um, I forget, but he was very popular in the 90s, and he has a very 90s mentality when it comes down to his writing in comics. And I think that might actually work out with Grifter, because Grifter is a character that was created in the 90s that is very, very much has that 90s mentality. And you can really get that action feel from it, and I think Rob would actually be good on Grifter as a writer. Will I be continuing picking up Grifter? No. That's actually going to be one of the titles I'm going to cut. I like Grifter, but I don't know if I like him enough to stay with Grifter. See, the problem is I just didn't like issue number 5, and it left such a bad taste in my mouth. I don't think I'm going to pick up the rest of the issues. I may pick up issue number 6 or 7 just to see where it goes, but besides that, I'm not digging Grifter right now. As for Savage Hawkman, I'm not sure where I stand. I'm kind of iffy because, see, the art isn't bad, but it's not for Savage Hawkman, and the writing isn't bad, but it's not for Savage Hawkman. I think Rob Liefeld could go in either which way with this comic. He's not doing the art; he's only doing the writing. I don't know why I brought up the art, but I guess it's because Rob Liefeld is an artist. But he can go either which way. I'm very, very protective of my Hawkman, because Hawkman is a character that you have to be delicate with and write correctly. A lot of people don't write Hawkman correctly, and it makes me mad. But it can go either which way. Um, so I'll have to see where it goes. Finally, Deathstroke. I think him going on Deathstroke may be a bad thing, because, like I said, he has a very 90s mentality, and I feel as though with that it could dumb down Deathstroke. Deathstroke is a very intelligent villain. He's not a I go out, shoot, 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 slash sword, kill, all that kind of stuff. That, and I don't like the drawing for Deathstroke. I'm going to stick with the title because I love Deathstroke to death, but I don't think it would be that good of an idea. So, I don't know. I think he won't grasp the concept of what Deathstroke is as well as he would with someone like Grifter. Grifter doesn't take a lot to write, where Deathstroke does take a lot to write. He's a very established character, established by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and even when Jeff Johns got his hands on Deathstroke, he didn't write him as well as George Perez and Marv Wolfman had him. I know that's a pretty bold statement because a lot of people love Jeff Johns, but he is not without his faults, people. I like Jeff Johns too, but his Deathstroke was not that good. So, a Deathstroke is a character that really needs to be handled with care. So I don't want him to be on Deathstroke. So when it comes down to it, he could actually be very beneficial to Grifter. So with Hawkman, it could go either which way, and then not so much with Deathstroke. Ironically, I'm going to be dropping Grifter, and I'm keeping the other two titles. But you know, the thing is it really comes back to whether you're a Rob Liefeld fan or you're not. Like I said, I know nothing about his writing. For all I know, he could be a fantastic writer. All I know is his art style, and I'm not too particularly keen on his art style. But for all we know, he could be a great writer on these titles. He obviously has a fan following, and that could help out these titles, especially if they're hurting. But I don't know. I feel comfortable with Tony Daniels and Kyle Higgins on Deathstroke and on Hawkman. So if well, I mean Kyle, not Kyle Higgins. Oh wow. Yeah, no, Kyle Higgins on Deathstroke and Tony Daniel on Hawkman. I thought I mixed them up. Um, Tony Daniel. I feel comfortable with Kyle Higgins, but Tony Daniel, I could probably switch around with Hawkman. I don't see why Jeff isn't doing Hawkman because Jeff had a pretty good grasp on Hawkman. I know Jeff Johns can't do everything, but I think he had a good grasp on Hawkman. So I don't know. Now I'm kind of just rambling. So I guess the question I need to ask you guys are, what do you think on Rob Liefeld's writing? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea? Do you like his art or do you not like his art? Where do you think his comics will go from here? Let me know, and we'll compare and contrast notes, shall we? No, but seriously, let me know what you guys think, and as always, I'm interested to hear your opinions. And like I said, next, what I am thinking is going to be going in detail, talking about the new wave of the DC 52, the second wave, and then talking about the comics getting cut. Talked about it briefly on my Andrew Cutter picks of the week, but I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.